Well, we're here today with the Kelly brothers, Scott Kelly, Expedition 25 flight engineer, who will become the commander of the International Space Station for Expedition 26. Mark Kelly, Endeavour's commander for the STS-134 mission to the International Space Station. A very unique moment here. You guys were born February 21st, 1964 in West Orange, New Jersey. Right before the launch of Endeavour, actually, you'll turn 46. So the first question, naturally, since you're identical twins, is who's the oldest?
Actually, we'll be 47. So if you do the math, from 64 to 2011, we'd be 47 right before, before I launch, and I'll be 6 minutes older.
6 minutes older. So you were first, Scott followed you, but that's not necessarily the way your career paths worked, as we'll explore later on.
But we didn't know that, actually, until we were probably, what, 15? 16?
Our parents weren't, they didn't want to tell us who was older because they thought maybe that person would then have some leverage or something like that. So we didn't know who was older, who was younger until probably, 13 to 15-ish.
Well, before we go into your upbringing, did one become the alpha male pretty quickly in life?
Isn't that dogs you're referring to there?
It could be humans as well.
But
I don't think so.
No, we've always been pretty close and not very competitive with each other. So.
New Jersey has grabbed a lot of limelight, particularly recently in television with a variety of programming. But those who are not familiar with West Orange, New Jersey, where you were born and grew up, tell us a little bit about your hometown.
It's it's kind of a combination of sort of city-like and the suburbs. It's a bedroom community of New York City, about 20 minutes west of Manhattan, and it's really was a great place to grow up. It's that whole area has got a lot to offer, and we took advantage of some of that, I think, growing up.
Good school systems. We used to do field trips from school into New York City to go to museums, so it was a great location.
We used to do our own field trips into New York City on the local bus.
West Orange, aside from the two of you, is the birthplace of other notables. I'll just read a few. Thomas Edison, certainly historic icon.
Yeah, I actually don't think he was born there, but that's where he had his major factory and his laboratory.
And he lived there for many years.
Yeah, and his the museum for the national, I think it's a National Historic Monument now for Thomas Edison, is in West Orange.
General George McClellan, famous historic figure. Phil Rizzuto, shortstop for the New York Yankees, and later one of their broadcasters. Amos Alonzo Stagg and Whoopi Goldberg. Did West Orange ever strike you as a place in which notable people would grow up, maybe because of its geographic proximity to the Big Apple?
It's certainly known as a place that Thomas Edison spent a lot of time in. As far as some of those other folks, I wasn't really aware of that growing up. It's actually a pretty small town, population-wise. About, I think when we were there, maybe 50,000 people. So it's not a huge city. So it does somewhat surprise me now when you tell me all the notable people that were born there.
So what was it like growing up in West Orange?
Like my brother said, it's kind of got a little bit of an urban feel to it, but it is a suburb of New York City. But when you're growing up there, it's like it's all you know. A couple high schools in the town. We went to the one, I guess, essentially further away from New York a little bit. The town's somewhat divided by a big hill, so we have these terms of from up the hill and down the hill. And not that they really meant anything, but there was pretty much a division that went right through the town.
Did you all stay in the suburbs more, or did you, as you grew up, did you visit New York a lot?
We would go in there with our parents once in a while for actually going to Manhattan for dinner. Weekends occasionally to a museum. But most of my memories of traveling into Manhattan was with school trips, and then later on as we got into high school, kind of on our own and with friends.
I remember once going into New York City when I was probably 15 or 16 with just another friend, and getting stuck in the staircase of the Empire State Building. It was an experience because we decided we wanted to walk down instead of take the elevator down. So we got into the stairwell and we walked down most of the way to the bottom and then got to a door that would not open. And we wound up having to walk all the way back up and try to get out, the normal way.